August 31st, 1941. This week, the unexpectedly rainy weather does not stop the Germans from advancing across most of the front line from the area south of Leningrad to the region west of Vyazma. In particular, it does not prevent the Germans from reaching the shores of Lake Ladoga. But the weather, and most likely the difficult terrain, might provide enough time for the Red Army to evacuate the men of the 20th and 22nd Armies from the salient of Borki. And trust me, the STAVKA is so relieved to see that those men will live to fight another day. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2 with the online challenge. And yes, okay, so I might have exaggerated in the interaction when saying that the Red Army is facing a shortage of manpower, but I wanted to show you some numbers. And last week I lost again over 300,000 men, and these between the reinforcements and the losses resulted in a net loss of almost 145,000 men from the map directly, even though I got 60,000 men in the theater boxes. And this is because my opponent last week went on a say pushing spree, on an attack spree. Here he widened the gap. He took Andriapol, and here he just pushed took Vladimirskoye, and I guess he wanted to secure the railway to Vladimirskoye, which makes sense because if you have Smolensk as a base, Yartsevo, Durova, and Vladimirskoye, you can easily support all of the units in this area. Quickly let's have a look at the events. Okay, we have the Royal Air Force raids, the excess garrison in the Far East, success in the Balkans, partisans, and the Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. Now, the reason why I'm a bit concerned about the manpower is that when I look at the order of battle, I still have like 3.8 million versus 3.8, let's say 3.84. So I do have like roughly 20,000 men more on the map compared to my opponent, without including the Axis allies, of course. But when I was looking at the trend, I noticed that I have a permanent decline of manpower pool in reserve, which apparently is normal when you play as the Soviets, but because I'm not used to play as the Soviets, I'm a bit concerned about this. And so I had an idea that involves the commander's report. Now, normally I do this in the second episode, but for once I want to do an exception. And the exception that I want to do is to set the TOE of all the units which will be disbanded soon to 50%. Yes, because my idea is that if I force the units to shed their elements, I will have in theory more elements with which to reinforce the units that will not be disbanded. So the idea now is to send to the reserve theater boxes all of the units that will be disbanded within the next 5 turns, and then once there, set their TOE to 50%. Will it work? I don't know. Will it have an impact on my campaign? Maybe yes, because when you play as the Soviets, one idea and one rule is that you should have as many units, combat units, on the map as you possibly can. But yeah, I really don't know. I'm a bit concerned also because I was noting that here I only have like, no, not here, but yeah, 1989, 94, 83% TOE, so my units here are not, yeah, okay, 94, but yeah, they're not in the best shape, and I like to have, you know, everything filled up to 100%. But maybe I'm too ignorant. I don't know how to play as the Soviets, and I cannot have every unit to 100% of the TOE. So yeah, let's try this out. Let's see how it will go. And concerning the strategy, the Germans have almost reached Schlüsselburg, which is bad because if they take it next turn, then in 2 turns, Operation Typhoon, the event will trigger. And Operation Typhoon will give the Germans several overpowered artillery battalions, with which my opponent can just rip through my lines like a knife through butter. But to compensate my fear for Operation Typhoon, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the weather, because it's now raining, and as you can see here, there is light mud in the northern area of the Soviet Union. Here we have already still light mud. Okay, yes. Okay, but still, what I was interested in finding, so what I found very interesting is that next week also the weather in the air should be like rainy in the northern area of the Soviet Union. And if I am lucky, and this horrendous weather continues throughout September, even though September is not really the month of the heavy rains, but if the rain accumulates and it might turn this into maybe heavy mud, then maybe I could slow down the advance of the enemy panzer divisions. And I say again, maybe, maybe, maybe. It's like I'm building up assumptions on maybes. Let's see. I don't know. I hope in the rain. I hope in the Rasputitsa that will come early. Maybe it will not come early. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, as always, as I like to say, things do not look good for the Red Army, as always. And also because I don't know which direction my opponent will take. Like here, for instance, I see, let's say, I have a deja vu for here. What I think he's trying to do is to squeeze my units into a narrow corridor through which these units here can no longer escape, and therefore you can just squeeze them here, encircle them, isolate them, and then annihilate them. And this will not happen. It happened twice already, it will not happen again. And so, yeah, while I don't know what else he will do, if we will go for the Oryol, Kursk, Voronezh axis, and then march on Moscow through here, because here there are just plains, or if he will go via Oryol, Tula, Moscow, or if he will follow the historical Bryansk, Vyazma, Oryol pocket, and then march on Rzhev, and then from here attack Moscow from every direction. Honestly, I don't know. And yeah, so basically that's it already for this quick talk, and as always, it's time now to dive straight into the episode. Alright folks, so a new episode, a new turn, a new kind of saving the situation for the Red Army. The Germans are closing in on Schleswig, which is quite dangerous, and my gut feeling tells me that no matter how many troops I station into that hex, next week the Germans will take it, and therefore in 2 weeks I can expect Operation Typhoon to begin. And besides that, I wanted to say a few words about my improvised decision to send the units that will be disbanded on turn 14 and subsequently on turn 28 back to the reserves, and to set their TOE to 50%. As I said, I'm not very experienced in playing as the Soviets, so I don't know if this is the wrong approach, but I'm not pulling back. I want to do it simply because I don't want to let my opponent destroy units that will be disbanded anyway. Those units might be seen as a let's say sacrificial lamb, but no, for me every division matters, every single man of the Red Army matters here, and therefore, because those units will be disbanded anyway, I want to make sure I can rescue as many of them as I possibly can. Because it's simple, if they get surrounded and destroyed before they are disbanded, all of their manpower and equipment is lost forever. And I just don't want that. I don't want that. But maybe because I'm doing this maybe because of my inexperience when playing as the Soviets. Everyone on the forum and Discord says to keep as many units, as many counters as you can on the map. But I believe that given the current weather forecast and the slow pace of the German advance, I can kind of deal with that. I mean, come on. I think I do have enough units around, let's say, around Leningrad, around the Volkov front, around the Western Front, west of Moscow, around Bryansk, Kursk, and all this kind of stuff. I might not have enough units in the south, but that's a different story for the next episode. But overall, I am quite confident that here in the north and in the center, let's say, the defenses will hold. At least for this week and for next week. Whether they will whether they will hold against Operation Typhoon, I have no idea. But by that time, I hope to have enough troops to man a second line of defense between I don't know, maybe Vyazma, Kaluga, and Moscow to really stop the advance of the Germans during Operation Typhoon. But again, I don't know. Time will tell if these optimistic plans will turn into reality, or if they will be shattered by the spearheads of Army Group Center. And yeah, because again, in this episode there was nothing too much exciting going on. I will let you guys enjoy the rest of the video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best, and stay tuned because there is still one more episode for this turn, in which, as always, we see at what happens south of the Pripyat marshes. And well, let me tell you that this week something really bad happens south of those marshland.
Дела бывают разные, дороги дальние зовут. Полет летят бойцы отважные, и подведет нас парашют. Измерим небом расстояние, пройдем тропинкою любое выполним задание, готовы с неба прямо в бой. Любое выполним задание, готовы с неба прямо в бой. Смелые ребята мы, у нас по воздуху маршрут. Зовут гвардейцами крылатыми, нас не напрасно так зовут. Зовут гвардейцами крылатыми, нас не напрасно так зовут. В небе солнце улыбается, разогнав туман седой. День солдатский начинается вместе с горькой молодой. Насвящен в нашем знамени отблеск славы боевой. Мы горды высоким званием, срочный службы рядовой. Не закрой небо ясное, черных крыльев злая тень. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день. Мы уходим на учения, служба ратная идет. Новый день, как наступление, песня звонкая зовет. Насвящен нашим знаменем, гордой славы боевой. Мы горды ясное, черных крыльев, злая день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Наша служба, школа мужества, нашей дружбы крепче нет. Хорошо солдату служится, если он письмом согрет. На священном нашем знамени он блеславый боевой. Мы горды высоким званием прочной службы рядовой. Не закрой небо ясное, черных крыльев, злая день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. На морковке доверие, спокойнее сиди. Шаг морковки, шаг уверенный, у защитников страны. На священном нашем знамени, область славы боевой. Мы горды высоким званием прочной службы рядовой. Не закрой небо ясное, черных крыльев, злая день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день. Добрый день, страна прекрасная, добрый день, добрый день, добрый день, добрый
Гласит устава речь и на суше, и на море, революцию беречь, завещал Равнодоре. Как гласит устава речь и на суше, и на море, революцию беречь.
Конца страны
отчизна, что готова, в бою сердце всякий час, и солдата молодого.